Yo, friends and family. Thank you so much for joining me again. You don't know it's your boy Darren, Salmon, coming at you again with some more of the worst relationship advice ever. You definitely should not listen to me because it's bare rubbish. Me a chat. Unless it makes sense to you in some weird way. So far, we've looked at unconditional love and we have looked at intimacy. And now we're looking at friendship as one of the foundational ingredients for building a happy and long-lasting relationship. Let me tell you a bit of my story when it comes on to friendship, right? Because I have come full circle when it comes on to my belief regarding friendship. When I was in high school, I believed wholeheartedly that it was best for me to make friends with a particular girl that I may have been interested in, and then for our relationship to matriculate into boyfriend-girlfriend territory. And so that's typically how I approached my female relationships back then. But can I say that back then I was the king, prime minister, and duke of the friend zone. Yes, that was me. Yeah, man. You'd see me on the friend zone postage stamps. Yes, you'd see my face there. Because that was me. And so that caused me to shift a bit in my approach to women who I may have been interested in. And so coming into college, I took a more direct approach to just communicating my intentions with regards to, what I wanted to be in a particular girl's life. And this helped to getting me from, friend to boyfriend, girlfriend stage a bit sooner rather than later, or just not getting there ever at all. However, outside of the mutual attraction and the fact that we love Jesus, we didn't have much of a friendship outside of that. And so the relationship didn't have much to stand on. And so when, feelings, weared off, or when conflict arose, us staying together, just there wasn't much glue or meat that would have kept me or the other person in relationship with me. And so I was like, man, what is the ideal formula for transitioning from, strangers to friends to boyfriend and girlfriend and fiance and husband and wife, the transition. And I think it's a balance of the two. I believe that men do need to be intentional in terms of communicating what their intentions are toward a female. But at the same time, I believe those intentions should not be communicated until they have identified the traits in a woman that makes her a friend. Because I tell you, I got married to a person who had no interest in being my friend. And I felt that, how difficult our relationship was because we were not friends. She wanted me to be her husband, she wanted to be her wife, and nothing more. And so, without friendship, when your relationship goes through the turmoil, when it goes through the hardship, when the romanticism wears off, it's not there as it was in the beginning, you're left with this void that just cannot be filled by one person. It requires the cooperation of both. And so, I'm here to tell you today how to define friendship, because I tell you, back in the day, how I identified a friend was whether or not we saw each other 2 or 3 times in the same place. But we're friends. We could have been in the same class, could have been on the same table tennis team, could have done poetry together. Whatever it is I was doing with people, that would be the main criteria that I would use to identify them as a friend. But then, when the other aspects of life where I actually needed a friend came about, and those people were nowhere to be found, I then realized that these people were probably not really friends. They're probably more so co-workers, yeah, acquaintances, co-club members, yeah. And so I know many of you are probably like me, yeah, where just because of proximity, you identify a person as your friend. You probably don't use the other words like acquaintances and co-worker and family member and neighbor, but you just blanket everybody as friend once they're within close proximity over a specific amount of time. But I'd like to help you to identify better who a friend truly is. So, the hallmark of friendship, right, is influence. Write that down. The hallmark of friendship is influence. A person is not your friend, and you are probably not their friend if there is no way, shape, or form in which they can influence you or you can influence them. There are 6 characteristics that I know use to identify who a friend is in my life. And you could adopt this as well if you find it valuable. So 1, a person you can share your innermost thoughts with without fear of judgment and rejection. 2, a person you can lean on when you aren't your strongest and when you're going through a hard time. 3, a person who naturally shares common interests with you. 4, a person who supports your endeavors both tangibly and emotionally. 5, a person who fights for you and honors you. And 6, the person who you do all of these things for in return. If you find a person and they match these 6 characteristics, this person is your friend, right? Let's break them down a bit. So for the first one, your friend is a person you can share your innermost thoughts with. This goes back to intimacy, intimacy being about being open, honest, and transparent, where you want to share with this individual your innermost thoughts, your good days, your bad days, your ugliness, your darkness, and this person should respond to you in a positive and affirming and encouraging manner. Now, I also want to temper that by saying that we should also remember that the Bible does say that love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. Yeah? So your friend should and will hold you accountable from time to time. This accountability might come at you as an attack, right? It might feel a sort of way as if they're judging you. However, they may just be seeking to steer you in the right direction in a loving manner. And not all of us went to communication school, not all of us have the tact and the ability to express ourselves in a manner that does not offend or hurt the other person. But what you should really zone in on is what their motive is for critiquing something you may have shared with them and for wanting to guide you off of a path that you seem to be going down. Yeah, they really may just have your best interest at heart, and so there's no reason for you to fight against that. So that's why it's very important for us to give our friends the benefit of the doubt, because they really may be trying to serve us, and we might be fighting against that because we believe that we're right and we have a right to our disposition. But just as much as your friend will encourage you and extend empathy toward you, they may also hold you accountable and seek to guide you in a more holistic and wholesome and productive direction. The next thing I had mentioned was a friend is a person you can lean on. Yeah, in life, disappointments hit us left, right, and center. And we can be quite strong. We can be pushing and going after our particular goals and things. But hey, none of us are strong 100% of the time. And sometimes, just like in a relay race, We need to hand the baton off to somebody else and let them continue the race while we take a fight, we take a break, whether that be mentally or physically. And so a friend is somebody you can lean on when the going gets tough. Next, we have a friend is a person who shares your interests. Yes. Are you a person that likes to, work out? Then it'll be much easier for you to be in relationship with a person that likes to work out. If you are a person that likes to sleep in, it'll be easier for you to be in relationship with a person that likes to sleep in. Yeah? If you are a person that is really good at math, right? It'd be good for you to find somebody that shares that same interest with you, whether that be shows or the denomination that you're a part of. All of us have various interests, various things that surround our lives. And the more we can have in common with another person is the more compatible we may seem. And the more compatible we may seem is the easier it is for us to move with this person through life. Trust me when I say, you want to reduce your friction as much as possible. Yes? And commonality is the lubrication that gets the gears running smoothly. Because the less conflict you have is the less you have to resolve conflict. And the less you have to resolve conflict is the easier it is to make your relationship go through life without the fear of it eventually failing. So, just like the Bible says, don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers, because what union can light have with darkness, right? How can you go left and right at the same time, right? In the same way, you're going to have a hard time if you are an early riser and your partner is a late riser. The thought may cross your mind every now and then that this person is a lazy bum. And that's a negative thought to have. And that thought can influence your behavior toward your partner. You're like, I have to get up early and start working while they're sleeping. I'm not even going to bother to make her breakfast because she's just lazy and she should get up and make me breakfast. She's a wife. But would you really have that sort of thought toward your friend? See, sometimes as husbands and wives, we can get so caught up in the gender roles and what the man is supposed to do, what the female is supposed to do. But if you are a friend to your partner and your partner is a friend to you, it really erodes the gender lines. Because now you're more accepting of who the person is, where they are in your life, and they're doing the same for you. And so you seek to fill the gaps in each other's lives effortlessly, unconditionally. Where it doesn't matter if this person is a lazy bum or not, you're still going to serve them. And it doesn't matter if this person is different from you in certain manners, because of your love for them and because of your interest in the longevity of the relationship, you're going to take an interest in what they are interested in. You see, it all boils down to what is your motive? What is it that you're seeking to accomplish in your relationship? And so if you want a friend in your relationship, you need to be a friend. Now, truth be told, you're not going to have everything in common with your partner. Your girl might love watching HGTV. All the home improvement shows and Iron Chef and that stuff. While you might be more of a sports guy, or, you might be into watching documentaries on Discovery TV. And so there will be need for compromise every now and then. But out of love for your friend, there's nothing wrong with intentionally taking an interest in what they are interested in. You are putting in the work, you're putting in the effort in being a friend to your friend. Yeah? Next, we have a person who supports your endeavors, both tangibly and emotionally. Yes, especially for, us as men, we tend to have, large visions and goals, things that we want to accomplish in this life. And what we need more than anything else is a supportive woman by our side, to help us carry out that vision, right? And so we cannot really entertain in our space a person who is negative, a person who is casting doubt on our abilities to reach our goals, to succeed, to do great things, right? That person is definitely not being a friend. We may be getting doubt and pushback and opposition from all the other people out there. We definitely cannot be accepting that from our friend, from our partner, the person who is supposed to be in our corner. And so we don't always have it together, we don't always have it together. So there are times when we might fall off emotionally or might fall off financially. A friend will lend us money, and we won't do the same for them when that time comes around. Yeah? And so we have to realize and acknowledge that as human beings, we are prone to falling short sometimes. We are prone to failing from time to time. And so even though failure is really surrounding quitting, and you really only fail if you quit. But as many of the successful people out there would say, you fail forward. As you fail, you get up, you go again, you try again. And you need somebody in your corner who is going to be encouraging and, guiding you on how to stay on track with your particular goals. Then now, the next thing is a person who fights for you and honors you. Yeah. You see, it is inevitable and dual that, offense will happen. And this is a trait that is universal. That when you're in friendship with somebody, you're highly likely to offend the person, and the person is highly likely to offend you. And a trap that we often fall into is where we go and vent to other friends or to other family members, or we share the negativities that we come across, that we experience in our relationships. And when we do that, we are actually not honoring our partner. What we can do, even in these moments when we're venting to other people, is understand and accept that where there is offense, it is always dual. Meaning, they may have done something to offend you, but you most certainly did something to offend them. And if it's dual, it means that whatever the issue is in the relationship at that time, it is not all their fault. You also have a part to play, taking responsibility for your part in the offense, in the conflict, helps to lessen how much of a victim you are appearing to the people you're venting to, and how much of a bad person you're painting to the people you're venting to. How much of a bad person your partner is to the people that you're venting to. You get me? And so we need to always have that in mind, that we need to honor our friend. This is a major mistake that me and my previous wife made, in that with every grievance that we had with one another, we often vented to friends. But she had more friends than I did, And so because of that, we dishonored each other, and it broke down trust in our relationship. And it felt as if there was just no comeback for us. So when it comes down to resolving conflict, that can be made even more difficult when now you are aware that not only is your partner offended with you, but now there are other people within the community that are offended with you for just being a human being, making, some silly mistake. And so it's important that we also take responsibility for our part in the offense, because every offense is dual. And the final aspect of friendship is the person that you do this for in return. Reciprocation, man. Trust me, I'm sure you all can agree with me that a person who is giving and loving and showing and doing all these things for their friend, and the friend is just soaking up all the love, and they're not doing anything in return for their friend. Of course, the person who is giving is gonna feel taken advantage of, right? They're gonna feel taken advantage of. They're gonna grow tired. They're gonna grow weary, and the friendship will fizzle out over time. Reciprocation is necessary for keeping the friendship going and for keeping the friendship healthy. So as your friend loves on you and encourages you and supports you and gives you a listening ear and forgives you and takes an interest in the things that you're interested in, and y'all go hiking together and you'll go on road trips together and you'll have your secret handshake and you're doing all these wonderful things, the energy that they're giving to you, you need to reciprocate that energy onto them, because that encourages them to continue with the positive energy towards you. And it goes back and forth like that. Yeah? Because if it's one-sided, I tell you, it will just take a little time and fizzle out. Right? And so when it comes on to unwavering commitment, which is, something I'm going to touch on in the future video to come, that becomes even more harder. It becomes harder to be committed when the relationship is one-sided and it just feels unfair. Yeah. So yes, my friends and family, thank you so much for joining me today for yet another episode of the worst relationship advice ever. You definitely should not listen. I do hope that this was enlightening for you, that you have a bit more insight, a bit more understanding of how to identify who a friend is. And once you've identified that friend, then now you should communicate that, hey, I wish to take our relationship to another level, a deeper level of commitment. And I believe when you follow that type of trajectory, that type of model, that type of way of going about things, it may just work out a whole lot better than the way we may have seen modeled for us in our current day and age. So yes, big up, enough love and respect. Thank you for joining me once more. See ya.